Wolfpack Nation, here we are again for part 2 here of our conversation here with Greg, Pac Fan de Nova here. Pac Fan in Nova. There we go. Again, I'm totally remembering his Twitter name off the top of my head, so I apologize on that, Greg. But if you haven't checked out part 1 yet, make sure to go check that out as we kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that Greg was famous for, obviously, with Brooklyn Lake, Carolina, his famous GIF at Omaha, and also 2 experiences in the College World Series in Omaha as well. So make sure to go check that out. But just as a reminder as well, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This really helps support us, and also to make sure you don't miss out on any of our new content when we release it. Give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. And also to make sure you give this video a like if you don't mind as well, so that way this video can get spread to more and more NC State fans. So Greg, jumping into it, so now we've kind of talked a little bit about your obviously experiences this year, which has been a crazy year for you with 2021, but kind of taking a look at here in 2022 and kind of at NC State in a whole. So I know obviously we talked a lot about baseball this past year, so we got to talk a little bit about baseball here to start off for 2022. So what are your kind of initial thoughts? I mean, I'm sure you probably at least watched, if not kept up with the when State did the exhibition against Duke.
Yeah, they did really well in that game.
And they looked really, really good. And into obviously, you got a very experienced bullpen back. You have some great pieces like JT Jarrett coming back, and Deontay Brown coming back as well. So, I mean, what are your kind of initial thoughts on this team coming up here in 2022?
Our all-world first baseman.
All-world, yes.
And so, hold on, before I get that, that's what I wanted to see UCLA do. We played 13 guys and had players who were playing different positions. I wish UCLA would have done that. Side note, it's my little tangent. I'm done.
But you're not wrong. I mean, Virginia Tech did it today. Clemson did it last night. Or the other night. I mean, I mean,
Miami did it in the basketball game. Miami played without 2 players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's too soon, Macon. Too soon. So, but
sorry, man.
No, you're good, man. I just think. I mean, our pitching's going to be even better. We got some good transfers that came into the program that that are pretty highly touted. I mean, I think that's what Avent does. I mean, he always has good players that are both young and some vets. I mean, like you said, our pitching's going to be really good. I think our starting pitching's going to be even better than it was last year, if you can believe that. I mean, you had Garrett Payne, who played in the Pac-13 game. He's going to be really good.
Really good.
Yeah, I mean,
he was like the go-to guy when they needed somebody, like in the deep part of the bullpen. They seem to be one of the guys they went to.
Yeah, so I think he's going to get a lot of quality innings for us this year. Of course, Sam's going to be a workhorse.
Oh, guy.
But yeah,
Chris Villaman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's
I love that guy.
A big boy, man. Good grief, he's a big boy.
Is a big boy.
It's a slider that's really dangerous, right?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
He's got a good fastball too. I mean, he locates that pretty well. But that slider's nasty. I think. I mean, I know they just released the schedule the other day. I'm looking forward to coming down for a couple of the series. But
it's pretty much, the schedule is pretty much set up as that if you have a team within North Carolina, we're going to come play.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's almost like they were very intentional to play North Carolina schools at least this season. And maybe they have been. I haven't noticed in the past, but it was But
I think maybe some of that might be COVID related too. Like just kind of
great point.
Keeping people close, less travel.
Great point.
I know we do make a great attempt to play the North Carolina schools. Especially the UNCWs, the Charlottes, the Campbells. Sometimes
they're playing Elon. They're playing High Point.
Yeah.
UNCG.
Yeah.
I don't think who else they're playing.
No, I think you got them all there. Yeah.
I think that's all.
Campbell was on the list. I saw.
Are they playing A&T? They playing A&T or Central?
I know they have. I know they've usually played one of them.
There's no sense.
But I know
and if I'm not mistaken, Central doesn't have a baseball team anymore. RIP. If I'm not mistaken, they just got rid of it. I know, unfortunate.
Gotcha. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. I mean, when we lost the ACC tournament 1-0 to Duke last year, and I think I'd really like to see us make a run in that.
They are playing A&T. They are playing A&T.
Yeah, I know they played them last year because it was like that one
March 22nd in Raleigh.
I think they played them last year. It was like 19-17 or something. It was some ridiculously high score game.
It was. I remember that.
Yeah, but No, I think it's going to be a great season. There's all that momentum, and I think I'm hearing some good rumblings about some things within the program that's going to start happening with Doak. I know they've already kind of announced a few little things. I was talking with one of the ladies last night from the athletic department, waiting for right after the team came in, and she's like, in the next couple of weeks they're going to announce some stuff within the athletic department. So
it's great.
Drop a little nugget there. I don't know. She didn't say what, but she did say that there'll be something coming here soon. So,
well, we had that interview with Debbie L, and she said that they had all intentions, like they were going to take the whatever it was, 15 million, I think it was, and put it towards a baseball stadium. But then the university stepped up with money for Reynolds. So like, well, we have to do with Reynolds. So but they've had every intention to do the updates. So
while I was out in Omaha, I had talked with some of the players' family, and there was a gentleman that was out there. I didn't even get his name, but he was prepared to build a stadium. But I guess that was nixed. Someone within, no, this is what they told me. Obviously, it's all rumor and all of that stuff, but they wanted to build a stadium over by the fairgrounds, so they could do beer sales. Because I guess it's a little bit harder to sell beer because it's on campus.
On campus, right?
So they wanted to build a brand new stadium, but I guess that kind of got mixed. I guess they wanted to renovate Doak instead. So, which I'm fine with.
Well,
if you do it right.
It's such a classic area. I mean, I can't even imagine going to a baseball game and not parking at that parking deck and walking down the hill and walking up the hill. And I can't imagine not doing that. You know what I mean? And so it's great to have some things on campus. I completely get it and definitely see the benefit of not having football and basketball on campus. But I mean, baseball, to, even be a student and, and just walk over and, check out a baseball game during the midweek. You need that because especially in baseball where, typically, especially in the midweek games, you don't have great attendance.
Right.
It's great that you can have a student walk out of class and go to a game. They don't have to get in the car and drive to the game, So,
right.
So that's kind of my thoughts on kind of keeping it there. But go ahead, Greg.
But definitely watching, our run through the tournament and seeing all these other facilities,
it's ridiculous.
Even La Tech's facility was that's better than Doak, and that's a group of 5 school, and we're a Power 5 school, and now granted they had the ESPN told us 1,000 times they got hit by a tornado. So if we all know they got hit by a tornado. But they did do some nice renovations there, and they had the student housing behind it, and that was pretty cool. That would be something cool to see. Kind of like a little mini Wrigleyville. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. It's definitely way overdue, and especially to even the scoreboard. Definitely needs an upgrade. It's been there for way too long. But I've heard as well, and I know that it's basically public knowledge that the season ticket holders, that there was a little bit of an increase in payments, and there was part of the payment was going to the renovation. So that's public knowledge. Something is coming. Okay, and I'm sure every single season ticket holder was like, "Yep, sign me." Fine.
Not
really?
quite. No,
you think so?
No. Well, here's the thing. I've been in the Wolfpack Club for 6 years now. I have never gotten an email saying season tickets are available for baseball. So,
well, that's true. That's 100% true. That's something which I know with that a lot of season ticket holders have had issues with NC State, is that they didn't do a great enough job marketing baseball. But I think that for at least next couple of years that State doesn't have to spend $1 on marketing, that baseball is going to market itself right now. So every State fan is going to know baseball and know everything about baseball for the next couple of years, I'm sure, at least. But it should be a fun year though. But again, in talking to Greg, so first of all, I'll kind of ask kind of a quick straight question, but did State get 10 wins this football season?
No.
Wow.
No.
Thank Greg.
And it's not.
There's an argument both ways. So.
Yeah. No, go for it.
I get it.
But I agree with Coach Dorn, and I really like Coach Dorn. That was a 10-win team. That I will 100% acknowledge all day. And the only reason I say no, so let me preface it. If you go by the letter of, and you can't say the NCAA because the NCAA doesn't control the bowl games, believe it or not. They only control the CFP. The bowl games decide what they want to make it. And so, by the letter of the thing, no, we didn't get 10 wins. So,
interesting.
But it was a 10-win team, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
But I also agree that, and I appreciate what the school is doing for the coaching staff, acknowledging it as a 10-win season and making it right with them and getting them at least. The numbers obviously haven't been released, but it sounds like they're going to at least get a portion of their bonuses, and I think that's the right move.
Should.
That's the right move.
Yes.
And that's how you keep your people happy, and people will never always be loyal, but that's about as close as you're going to get to loyalty by making those type of things right.
Yeah. Well, and especially too because we just did our live stream with Corey Smith from Pack Pride, and one of the things which you said, which I loved, was that he was talking with a high member of Wolfpack Club, and he was saying that there's been as much drama, right, over the last couple of months, or as much interest in joining the Wolfpack Club as there was when Phillip Rivers was here. The energy around it right now is crazy right now. So it's kind of one of those things that's hey, listen, if we have to, pay the coaches a little bit more to make it right, with the bonuses to basically keep them here and, get prepped for a big 2022 here, then so be it, because it's going to be crazy this coming year.
So let me ask you
the build up to this coming year.
Let me ask you a fun trivia question. How many people in the Wolfpack Club?
5, at least 5.
Definitely more than 5. Yeah, more than 5. Yeah. It's only about.
That's a good question.
Honestly, hold on. Before you say that, I was going to say it was honestly about. I was going to say about 2,000.
No, we have a little under 13,000. It's about.
Okay.
It's about 20. It's about 12,600.
Somebody somewhere is laughing at my number.
That's okay.
But the reason I say that is, everyone says, and I've had this conversation with folks before, we want to compete for championships. Well, we all know it costs a lot of money to compete. I mean,
you're going on a road that I've said before. I agree with you.
And so you look at Coach Dorn as the last numbers that were released. I think he was 10th or 11th in salary. So if you look at that return on investment, it's amazing.
Correct.
So
it doesn't last though.
No, you're right. But if you truly want to compete in championship, and not just football, it's any sport.
Correct. I know you're going.
If we're never going to be Alabama. We're not going to be Oregon. But there's some YouTube channels out there. There's one in particular, and I won't give them a shout out on this channel, but they actually go and tour all these facilities, and it's an amazing site.
I actually know what you're talking about. I've watched that channel before. It's incredible. You're like, this is insane. How much money is invested in this building?
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Even in sports like baseball and it's not a money making.
I haven't seen the baseball. I've seen mostly football.
Yeah, they did one on Oklahoma State, and they did Mississippi State, and I was like, this is ridiculous. This is probably nicer than the Murphy Center. It's insane.
It's for baseball.
So where I'm going with this is, if we want to compete, we need Wolfpack Club members. All right, we only have under 13,000. That's not even one graduating class at NC State. We typically graduate about 20,000, 25,000 a year. So if we can get those people to donate 10, 15, $100 a year, we can start paying these coaches and pay for these.
It doesn't have to be a lot. So
it doesn't.
It doesn't have to. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. So, I'll get off my soapbox, but if you want to compete, just put your money where your mouth is.
No.
Put your money where your mouth is. If you really want it, just do it. It's got to come from somewhere. And if you really want it and you get mad, you this way, you've heard the argument lately, well, give us something to cheer about. Okay, you just had essentially potentially a 10-win season.
Second best season in NC State football history.
You were 4 points away from an 11-2, 11-1 season.
Yeah,
you were 4 points away because you lost by one. You lost by what?
One at Miami.
You lost by
Miami.
And
Miami, and then
3 at Wake, 4 at Wake, 4 at Wake.
That's what I was getting at. Miami and Wake could have been, big wins there. So if you were to, and then Doran did it last season where he had 9 wins, and then or I think it was 9 wins. Maybe it was
8 wins.
Was it 9 wins?
8 wins.
Okay. He had one bad year, but he's progressed every time.
Yeah.
I think we had that one mention that since 2017 he's won at least 8 games, or 2018 he's won at least 8 games, minus the 1 year.
Yeah. And we're
guys, give us in the pool. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying we're scheduling better. I mean, we're bringing better opponents in. If we got Florida coming up in a few years. I mean, granted, it's like 6 or 7 years. We got BYU, Texas Tech. Obviously, Notre Dame's on a rotating cycle. So
fun games, exciting games to look forward to for fans. I mean, like I do think next year the toughest game, in my opinion, is going to be ECU. That's what I think.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
I think that on the road opening,
I'll give you that opening game.
Non-conference. Let me make sure I clarify that.
Yes.
That's why we're talking Texas Tech. We're talking Florida. I'm thinking
because we're playing UConn, College of
Charleston Southern, UConn, Texas Tech, and ECU.
Yeah, I agree. And only one of those is on the road, and that's the ECU game.
Correct, and they're going to be their Super Bowl. They were a 7-5 season. Holton Ahlers, their quarterback's coming back,
and first game of the season. I mean, you never know what you're going to get the first game of the season. So
Holton is coming back.
Ahlers coming back.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I mean, it's going to be a good. It's going to be a good. To me, that'd be a litmus test. First game playing on the road at ECU, where they're going to want your head, like they're going to just chop your head off.
By the way,
you can go in there and take care of business. You said what?
246 days away.
246 days away.
Okay. How many minutes have you got the seconds down?
I don't got that yet.
Yeah, no. But my point is it's fun. Like you mentioned, Scott, and going back to the original point, you've said that like we need things to pull for. Or give us something to pull for. Well, you've got it. So that excuse is out the window right now, and you're living through what was essentially the second best NC State team in school history, and so go donate. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot; just do it a little bit, and you can. People can afford, 100, maybe some people. I guess $50 a month, $50 a year, $100
if you can afford it.
I think you get in at 50. I think you can get in the ground floor.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look.
A year, by the way, right?
Yeah.
I said a year.
A year. You get in.
$10 a month, $5 a month.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like one less latte.
A drive-through meal, McDonald's.
Yeah. So I mean, again, if we all have priorities, and I get it. Like and people can get it. But I'm just saying, if people really want to get serious about this and want to compete, I mean, look at the women's team. They're a powerhouse on the national stage. Women's cross country just won a natty. So let's keep building, and let's go get some ACC championships, and then let's go get some national ones. I mean, there's nothing that says we can't get back to the glory
and you
days.
mentioned we'll never be in Alabama, we'll never be in Oregon. Money wise, I mean, like resources wise, we'll never. I don't know if we'll ever catch up to them.
Right.
But I know, like I mentioned before, I know Jay Billis at one point talking about basketball. He said State should never really. He says something along the lines of State should never expect to be better than UNC or Duke, like because
that's ridiculous.
They're so much better. It's ridiculous. Like, who is Jay Billis to say that? Who was Duke before Mike Krzyzewski? Who was Butler before Brad Stevens? Who are any of these schools before those coaches? Who was Syracuse before Jim Boeheim? Who was? I mean, it was just that was such an ignorant quote to me.
And I would argue basketball is the one sport where you can change it like that. You only need 2 or 3 horses.
Texas Tech had Chris Beard and was instantly in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking just Texas Tech. I could go on and on about that, but it's just you can do it. In football, I get it's a different beast,
a lot harder.
But why not NC State? Why could State not be the best team in the ACC?
I mean, we've got great facilities. Granted, people argue about PNC.
Clemson was like us a few years ago.
Yeah. Well, so, look at back, and if we make that kick the year they won the national championship. It could be completely different force.
Total different trajectory. Excuse me.
Yep. They don't win a national championship because they lose to Pitt later in the season.
Correct.
So who knows?
State's maybe the favorite. Never know.
That could have been our springboard.
It could have been. And again, too, it's definitely one of those things that, because, one thing to keep in mind as well is, again, there are so many sports which are competitive. And I know that, WL was even saying that when she hired Wes Moore, that, they had a certain amount that they could offer and say, listen, if you do what we expect that you are going to do, it's going to get better and better. Yeah. And that's not going to be also for Wes. That's going to be for Pat Popolicio. That's going to be for Braden Holloway for swimming. That's going to be for all these coaches, that, once they do better and better, they want to be paid, at the level that all the other major coaches are getting paid at, which is completely understandable. They're putting out, then they want in return. So that's something to keep in mind as well, is it's not just football here, but it's others as well. Now, I do want to ask you kind of in that general kind of topic. So if they gave you the option that you could be, like a Clemson level, where like in football, where every single year you're winning 10 wins, at least 10 wins a year, ACC championships all the time, but be almost non-existent anywhere in any other sport, or being like we are right now, where it's more of that we are competitive in so many sports. I mean, I know I might probably already know your question because I know you are big baseball fans, but I mean, if you had that option, would you take that route?
No, I'd want to compete in all sports. Now, maybe every 5-7 years you get a good run, and do something. But I mean, just for the sake of, I don't know, I would feel kind of jaded as a student athlete. I think, if all the eggs are in one basket for football, and we're just not getting the love that we deserve. Clemson was really good in basketball a few years ago, and they were barely drawing anybody in the crowd. I think, what was it, like maybe 4 years ago, and we were there, and like they were having a good season. There was like nobody in the arena. I'd want the support, I think, for all sports.
Because one thing I love too about state fans is that for every single sport, there are a group of really loyal fans to that sport. Every sport. Like, even when I went to volleyball, I mean, I can't even tell you how many, actually, I received messages from fans saying volleyball, saying, hey, we need to get more state fans here to volleyball. How can we do this? And so, like, that's why, I really wanted to make sure I got to a volleyball game before the season ended, because I really wanted to cover it. And, but I like, for example, like, I feel like that if there is any team that is doing really well, state fans get behind it. Every single time. Like, look at wrestling, back, what was it? I think in 2017, we went against Ohio State and it was sold out.
Yeah.
And like, when have you ever seen that, with wrestling? And it's unbelievable. And like with baseball, with, whatever sport, we're really good in it. State fans are supporting it 100%.
And that's the thing too. And just go back to football. Look at all the lean years we had under O'Brien. Like, the place was still sold out. State fans will show up. They will show up. Regardless of records. Obviously, winning brings out the best in everyone, but state fans are loyal, if nothing else, to a fault. I think, I was joking with my dad the other day. I said, man, state fans, we must be glutton for punishment, because it's the definition of insanity to continue to do the same thing over and over again, meaning rooting for our teams and, accept a different result. But we don't care. We don't care.
I describe all state fans in three ways. I say they have no hair on their head, they have high blood pressure, and they have really thick skin. All of them. That's all of us.
That's a fair assessment.
For sure.
That's a fair assessment.
And yeah. So, and I think I'm sure that by the time I'm in my 60s, that I'm going to have all three of those. So,
I feel like every time I watch a game, I've lost probably at least a year off my life. It just. Yeah, I just wear it on my sleeve, and just like, come on,
Me and Layden joke around. We could talk for hours about state stuff and just go back and forth. Like, heck, right now we filmed this. What are your thoughts about Thayer Thomas coming back, and what are your thoughts about Bam Knight going pro, or Trenton Gill going pro?
Trenton Gill going pro, right? Like what punters go pro? Like, give up early eligibility? I think wasn't that you that tweeted that, Layton? I think, was that you that tweeted that today?
Actually, I saw AJ Cole put a tweet out that AJ Cole said state develops players so well that punters leaving early.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter today. I thought that was pretty funny.
And AJ Cole's a punter, obviously, for those who don't know. So
yeah, Pro Bowl punter.
Pro Bowl punter, one of two.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is crazy.
Was it in NFC? Raiders of the NFC?
AFC.
Mm-hmm.
AFC. So he was the AFC punting representative. So
yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
it's insane. but in fact, he just got paid too. I saw he signed a new contract. Like
he got a contract. Yep.
Ago. But
you did.
Yeah. So Thayer's coming back. I mean, Bam. You know, we kind of figured Bam would go pro. You know, we lose Ricky, but I mean, I'm excited about the backfield. I've heard good things about Mims, and of course, you know, George Houston's going to be good.
Dude, I'll tell you what though, the hype around Demi Sumo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember seeing that like preseason, during the season, and now postseason. Either a player or an assistant coach doesn't necessarily need to be a running back or a running backs coach. It's been Beck. It's been somebody on defense. It's been Dorn. He's a name that's always seemed to come up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever heard that much. I'm not saying he's gonna be the next. He's gonna be like a Heisman winner or anything like that. I'm saying he's just. I've not heard that much hype, and it's not like they're trying to like legit talk it up. It's just like he just consistently keeps being a name that people just kind of throwing out like he's impressed everybody, it sounds like. So I'm not really worried about it. Maybe they bring in a transfer just to kind of add some depth there.
So I did see on one of the Twitter accounts that said check the transfer portal for running back. So obviously it was a very generic tweet, you know, and people do that all the time, obviously for clicks and likes, but who knows? We did lose a couple kids to transfer portal today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Of course.
Terrell Dawkins and
Khalid Martin.
Khalid Martin, safety.
Yeah, Khalid Martin.
He had they both had pretty bad injuries when they were time at state.
Yeah, Martin got hurt really bad at that Virginia Tech game.
Martin was the worst. Yeah.
That's right.
So, but there's some depth there that we're going to lose. But I mean, you know, when you're so stacked that we're going to be on defense next year, that it's not surprising.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you think about it, the only question mark that I can think of right now is running back, and it's not a question mark for the fact that we don't think we got good players. They just don't have game experience except for Houston. So really, everybody else, you know, is going to be solid.
So that's why I mentioned maybe you want to bring in a transfer kind of guy.
Yeah. So unfortunately, guys, I have to cut us off because again, just like we were saying, we're literally making the point. We could talk about this for hours, but unfortunately, we got to eventually stop the episode. At least maybe we could take it offline here. But again, I want to first of all thank you so much, Greg, for joining us again. Really appreciate you talking with us, and definitely looking forward to seeing you at many spring events here, and for many years here in the future, brother.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, Greg. Thanks for the time, man.
Well, hey, so thank you all again. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure again to hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out on any of our new content whenever we release it. And also really help support us. Give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter or Instagram. And also give this video a like so that way this video can get spread to more and more State fans. And also make sure again to keep on following Greg. And again, definitely a diehard State fan, as diehard as it gets out there. But thank you all so much again for tuning in. As always, hey, go Pack, y'all.
Go Pack.